Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and another episode of Real Fairies in Real Photos. This time we are at Pine Lake State Park and we are on the Tunnel Beach Trail. There's two ways to get to the beach, and that is through the tunnel at Hogsback or from the spillway from the main area of Pine Lake State Park. We're on the tunnel side. Also, I would like to invite you to enter my contest, which runs from today, December 4th, 2022, to Saturday, December 10th, 2022. The contest involves finding two specific things in this video that are firsts for me in taking photos of these fairies. These firsts are clearly discussed in this video. To enter the contest drawing, leave a comment that tells me what those two firsts are. If you are correct, I will enter your name into the drawing. The winner will be announced in next Sunday's video, December 11th, 2022. So what does the winner get? A personalized past life video card reading, which is an 18-card reading with my Authentic Faerie Tarot cards, plus 9 playing cards for current life info. I charge $25 for this reading on Fiverr. Okay, now that you have all the details of the contest drawing, grab your magic wand and zap that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and take a moment to support this channel using the link in the description box below. Now on to the fairies. This fairy may cause you pause, but remember, they form themselves out of many things, and sometimes we catch them before they are done or as they are trying to blend. This fairy reminds me of an old vulture in the head and face. He also seems to have a long, skinny neck. His leg and foot are very clear. I do believe he may also be wearing glasses. There is a shawl or blanket slung over his shoulder, far too smooth and flexible in appearance to be a leaf. The enlarged photo above looks like a painting. We can see this fairy in profile. Her eye and nose are clear, as is her hair, which is much too soft looking to be anything but hair. She is wearing a leaf coat and a knee-high leaf boot with a bit of fur around the top. We can see one hand a bit behind her as she has leaned back in what looks to be a comfortable position. I believe this fairy has attempted to blend himself with the stones. We can see his hat, an ear, both eyes, and his nose quite clearly. We can also see the bottom of one foot and the thicker edge of his shoe across the toes and down the right side of the sole. Definitely a unique being. The fairy in the above photo is in a very interesting position. I get the impression that he is dancing and that his arms are in the position of walk like an Egyptian, or like he is running in place. We can see his face clearly with eyes, nose, and mouth. His hat was what gave him away to me due to the color. He could be lying down too and reaching back to scratch his back or something. It is hard to tell for sure. The fairy in this photo has an animal face, but is wearing clothing. We can see his hat and his jacket with a dark belt and thick sleeve edging. His wrist and hand are quite clear, as is his bent knee. The way that his knee is bent, it looks like he may be riding something, but I can't see what it might be. We can also see one eye and his dark triangle nose. I have lightened the above cropped image for you so you can see it better. I believe this fairy is wearing a helmet with a tassel. This helmet either has a strap that goes under the chin, or we are seeing a beard on this fairy. His face is in profile and the helmet is covering his eyes, but we can see his nose. We also see his arm and hand from the shoulder. What is really cool, and a first for me, is that this fairy is casting a shadow. Hear that? Casting a shadow. The red arrow is showing you the fairy from the previous frame so you can see how close together they are. There are two fairy beings here interacting with one another. The one on the left appears to be the older of the two, and we can only see part of his flesh-colored face in profile, as well as his arm and hand stretching out toward the other fairy. The fairy on the right looks like a young one. He is wearing a hat, and we can see more of his face with two large dark eyes and his nose and mouth. He is reaching his little arm and hand out toward the other fairy. The two red arrows in the photo on the left are showing you the fairies from the two previous frames of this video to show you how close all of them are to one another in the photo. This photo has been a wealth of fairies. This one is seen from head to toe, though her body is obscured a bit by the leaves. We can see her hair, which is a little tall on her head. We can see her face so clearly with eyebrows, eyes, nose, one cheek, and her mouth. You can even see part of her pointed ear coming out of her hair. Then, the icing on the cake is her black pointed shoe. Take notice of the little box behind her, a pot that is square, which seems to be holding something pineapple-shaped. I believe I have another first with this fairy. Previously, we saw a fairy with a shadow. I believe this one has a water reflection. I have lightened the above photo for you. We can see her hat, dark hair, and her face. Her eye is closed or looking downward, and her nose is clear too. The shape of the lower part of her face makes it appear she is talking. We can also see her arm and hand. To her right is a face in the water. I've pointed out the hat tip and this face, which is quite distorted as water tends to do, especially moving water, which can be seen by the ripples in the photo to the left. I have no idea what type of fairy we have here, as all I can make out are the glowing blue eyes under the arched down tree. I think I can see a nose too, but I can't even be sure of that. The eyes are a glowing blue, but they don't seem at all threatening.